Hey folks, today I'll tackle a crucial question for new drivers: how to spot road signs while driving. Let's get started. This issue is pretty common. Almost every beginner struggles to notice signs when learning to drive. I've been teaching driving since 2008, and here's what I've observed. First off, don't stress. It's normal at the start. I'm not saying do nothing about it, you should. I'll explain what to do. But don't panic or look for a quick fix to suddenly see all signs overnight. It's not that simple. You need to know certain things and give yourself time. First, I'd like to address what happens if you don't work on yourself. Let's say you've learned to drive decently but still can't read signs properly. Obviously, that's not good. For service signs like car washes or tire shops, missing them isn't a big deal. Even if you miss a no stopping sign and park, it's not great, but not critical. You might get towed or honked at, maybe even have dirty rags thrown at you. Safety-wise, it's not ideal, but not terrible either. However, when a driver misses priority signs and approaches an intersection, if you miss main or secondary signs, or don't see prohibitory signs like no left turn, it's risky. When such signs are installed, it usually means one-way traffic or no entry at all. Missing prohibitory signs like no entry, no passage, or mandatory direction signs is dangerous. It directly compromises your safety while driving. If you or others notice you're missing signs, work on it. Missing a crucial sign could end badly, even tragically. So, the main reason for this is, of course, attention. Attention that a novice driver lacks. At first, when you start practical training, your focus is split. Half or more of your attention is on driving itself, changing gears if it's manual, working multiple pedals at once. Turn signals on, then off, accelerate, shift, brake. It's all new to you. There's no automatic movements yet. You have to think about each action. If you don't, the engine will stall. You must consciously control your left foot, making it pause. This applies to all movements. At first, all your focus is on driving. You know the signs, but can't see them due to lack of attention. Later, as you learn to drive, you can relax a bit and look at the road. The same applies to novice drivers who don't notice certain things. The reason is that we don't properly allocate our remaining attention. You have 30% of your attention free, but you're not using it where a beginner would when driving. Pay attention to where you're looking while driving. Periodically ask yourself, where am I looking right now? You'll notice that you're focused on the car in front of you. This raises the question, how can we see the road signs if we're not looking at them? We don't really look at them. They're there, flashing, but we don't pay attention. So I can tell you that a novice driver, once they have some free attention, doesn't just look at these signs by default. If you ask them what sign they just saw, they won't be able to tell you. But if you give them a specific task, like approaching an intersection, they'll know from experience that you can't always go straight from every lane, that sometimes you need to change lanes, and that you need to look at these from afar. When he hears the task, he starts looking at the signs. If you don't give him this task, he won't look at them. For stops, look for a place to stop. When you give the student this task, he starts looking at the signs. The conclusion is that the student only looks at signs when necessary, that is, when he needs to do something. By default, he doesn't see these signs, he doesn't even notice them, they just blur past. So even when the student understands he should always see the signs, not just when he has they give a task, he doesn't do it. He tries to see them, but he doesn't have time. When he does, he can't grasp their meaning. They flash by too quickly, and he just can't keep up. Why? Think about it. Where are we looking, friends? We're focused on the car in front, missing road signs. We can't see or understand them in time. Here's an example. You're driving, there's a stop sign 50 m ahead. You're going 40 to 50 kilometers per h. No big cars blocking your view. Great visibility. But will you spot it? If you're used to looking for signs early, you'll see it. If not, you'll miss it. If you don't see it in time, you won't notice it at all. In the end, what happens? The first driver, seeing the stop reason early, stops smoothly. The second, spotting it too late, can't stop smoothly. He might miss it entirely or spot it too late. Smooth braking won't work. He'll need to stop abruptly. Otherwise, he'll crash into the curb. So, friends, what's our takeaway? To see all signs, you need two things. First, learn to drive semi-automatically. If it's your first city lesson, forget about signs. Default signs are a habit, like any habit formed through repetition. Practical repetition of a specific action creates a habit. Just watching this video doesn't mean you'll instantly develop the habit of looking for signs. You may understand its importance and potential consequences and even learn the rules, but that doesn't guarantee you'll start following them tomorrow. The habit of looking into the distance isn't there yet. It needs to be developed over time, constantly paying attention to it. When you're focused on driving, you can't do this easily. That's why I'm saying we need to learn to see all signs, and not just that. We need to be aware of any relevant road situation while driving. We must first learn to drive, going through the initial training stage, and then learn to manage our attention effectively. To focus properly, look beyond the hood and the car ahead. Keep your eyes on the road far ahead, but not constantly fixated. This is the foundation. If you learn to do this, look ahead, return your gaze to the road, check your speed mirrors and the road surface, control your following distance. You'll be set. If you're using GPS navigation, glance at the screen, then look ahead again. Check your left and right. Based on what you observe, you can determine your actions. If you see information early enough, you'll have time to process it. When you see a sign in the distance, recall its meaning, then decide if it applies to your current situation. For instance, if you see a no stopping sign but don't intend to stop, you can note it and continue on. The key is to perceive signs and signals with enough time to react appropriately. You don't need it now, so when driving, focus on two main things: where you're going and your next move. Look ahead for signs and be aware of your surroundings. If you stay focused, think about what's important and don't rush or speed. You'll have time to see everything: signs, crosswalks, people approaching, reasons to brake, and lane changes. At the end of this video, I'll give you one more tip that I always share. There are many beginners here, so I advise you to say your current and upcoming actions out loud while driving. When we speak, we think about it. If you think about where you're going and what's coming up, you won't dwell on fears or misconceptions. They won't distract you. That's the key. So verbalize everything you see and do. It's super helpful when learning to drive, especially at the start. It's 100% proven. That's all for now. Experienced drivers, colleagues, add comments if you have more to say. Subscribers, ask questions below. Let's chat there. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. As always, I wish you all safe travels. Bye for now.